Hey, so I'm live, it looks like, apparently. Um, Today we want to talk about life's purpose, talk about a subject that couldn't have more weight behind it. Like, what is your purpose in life? I feel like a lot of people, and I include myself in this, maybe never even find out what their real purpose is. We never even take the time to think about it. We don't have anybody who teaches us exactly what our life is supposed to be about, or about like how to find the right thing. Can be really difficult to find the right thing, to understand like this is exactly what I need to be doing with my life. This is exactly the path where I need my life to be going. And that's kind of it's a scary thing, number one, I guess, to think about, just because of the fact that it could be so permanent for you. Maybe it's like, oh no, I've now discovered what I'm supposed to be doing. So if I'm not doing that thing, and say I'm 20, say I'm 30, say I'm 40, say I'm 50, say I'm 60, I feel like I found out too late what I'm supposed to be doing, and now it's too late for me to quit this thing that I've been doing for a long time that's not my real purpose and start this other purpose. Well, I'm a testament to that, I guess, in some way, because I left a job that I had for almost 20 years at the age of 33 to really chase my life's purpose. Now, to give you a little bit of a background on that, I was in radio. So when I was a kid, probably like 14, 15, my mom asked me what I wanted to do with my life. I said I either wanted to be a radio DJ or a professional wrestler. Usually, neither one of those professions really takes you anywhere unless you're really, really good at the top of your game. So I got into radio, professional wrestling. I tried for 6 months. Not my world. Definitely not. I'm not built for it, or mentally either. It's just it's brutal. But radio DJ is something that I was built for, and I got into radio because I was shy. I was an introvert. I was very self-conscious, had low self-esteem, and look, radio as like this chance to go and be somebody else behind a microphone. If you ever watched Wayne's World, they say you're just a freak with a microphone. Like, you're just this person with a microphone. Nobody else can see you. You get to hide in this room and you get to talk and broadcast to thousands, maybe even millions of people, right? And they can't see you and you can't see them, but they can hear you and you control everything. So I don't know if that's why most radio DJs get into radio. I know I've heard Howard Stern say that same thing. Um, some might get into it for other reasons, but for me, it was like, even though I didn't really know it at the time, it was definitely a reason, a way for me to figure myself out, a way for me to put myself out there and to be somebody, I guess, be somebody without really having to put all of myself out there, because I could kind of be a character and hide behind that. So in a way, I was doing the right thing. I was doing something that was leading me towards what my purpose in life was. But in the end, really, it wasn't the one thing. It wasn't the right thing, maybe is how I should be putting it. Or at least in the way that I was doing it, it wasn't the right thing, or it was a piece of the puzzle. Let me explain. So then I left radio in April of 2017. This guy, Ty Lopez, internet marketer, he's all over the place on the internet. Maybe you've seen him out there. He started the 67 Steps program. First of all, I did the 67 Steps program. That started to change my life. I went through his social media marketing agency. That really changed my life because that gave me the tools that I needed. I knew that I understood social media. I knew that social media was powerful, but I didn't quite know how to use it to market. I didn't know what marketing was necessarily, and especially didn't know what that was online, what that meant. So I went through that program, and that really helped to prepare me for leaving my job. So I did that. I went through that program, the 67 Steps first, the social media marketing agency second, and then in April of 2017, I left my job. That was probably like maybe a year and a half journey, maybe even close to a 2-year journey from actually getting these classes, these programs, consuming them, taking on the information, starting to practice that information until I actually decided to take the jump and leave my job. Now, when I left my job, obviously, social media marketing was something that I just saw as an opportunity to make money until I really figured out what it is that I wanted to do. Not that I don't like social media marketing. I love it, actually. It's amazing, but I like a certain portion of it, right? I like to be able to help businesses grow. I like to be able to stand back and look at the big picture and show them, like, look, this is where you're at now. And these other traditional forms of media still work, right? Television still works, radio, newspaper, billboard, they can work for you, but really social media is where you can really expand who you are as a business and as a personality, and and tens of thousands of millions, of billions of people could see that, because social media is connected all over the world. You're not stuck in your area. You're not stuck in a brick and mortar kind of business. And you also now, at this point with social media, can create your own marketing. You can design your own marketing. You have full control over it, which is a really beautiful thing. So when I look at what was the potential that I saw with social media marketing, what was the piece of it that made a lot of sense to me? Well, number one, it was going to help me grow as an entertainer, or as a, I guess I could call myself a content creator. I like to do content. I love creating content, and it's really hard to create content if you don't have anything to talk about. So when I look at my journey, where I'm at right now, it's like, man, I've gone through a lot throughout my life. I've a lot of learning through pain, and I didn't have a bad life. I don't want anybody to think that I've had a very easy life, but mentally inside my own head, I've treated myself very poorly for a long time. So I'm learning. I shouldn't say I had to learn. I've been learning how to correct those things, how to change those things. And through social media marketing, it's helped me to understand that I can take these social media platforms, use them for my own benefit, which markets me, puts me out there to the world, lets me speak in front of a camera, lets me speak in front of a microphone on a podcast. And that then helps to build my self-esteem, helps to build my credibility, helps to build my expertise. And I can take that proven knowledge, like think of a resume, like social media is the way to build the best resume in the world, or the worst, depending on how you use it. But if you use it correctly, you can use these platforms to build a visual, audio resume of who you are and what you do and why somebody should trust you and hire you for that thing that you're great at. Okay, so it's really an incredible tool. That's all that social media is a tool. It is not good. It is not bad. It's how we treat it. And a lot of society treats it poorly because they treat themselves poorly. And that's a sad fact, but it's a true fact. So I really feel like once I experienced what I could do with this marketing, and I experienced myself putting myself through these marketing techniques to grow my own brand, okay? Wanted to grow my own brand and grow my own business. I started to do that through social media marketing, and it felt like the perfect way to do it, because it was my voice. It was me telling my story or telling what I knew. And once I realized, wow, I can take this and I can use this for other people, this is going to be transformative for businesses in my area, and anybody that I work with can soak up some of my knowledge. Okay, so at this period of my life, from April of 2017, right now we're sitting in December of 2018, has been an incredible journey. I ended up, I'm doing my podcast, which is Rob Z Radio. I have the YouTube platform, which is something that I'm really trying to work on now, this Rob Z Show platform. My Facebook and my Instagram, which is Rob Z Radio. I was using all of those platforms and then bringing in clients and starting to work with clients and helping them grow their social media and helping them not just to post stuff on Facebook, not just to post stuff on Instagram, not just to run ads, not just to make videos, but to create content, tangible content that has value behind it. Because the only way you're going to grow and the only way that other people are going to grow through you is through value. You must give value. You must have value, and you must give that value out to others. And this actually drew me back into radio recently. I came back into radio, but I came into radio on my own terms, like an entrepreneur would. So I came back into radio. You can find, if you do a search on Google, wherever you're listening to this from, Mix 94.7. Just go to My Mix 947. That's the website. You can listen live there. I'm on every day, 3 to 7 p.m. Eastern. So I'm back on radio doing the thing I love, but I'm doing it on my own terms. I am doing the show from my office, from my studio where I'm recording this right now, which is amazing. And then I'm also not working for the company that I'm doing the show with, okay? They don't pay me. I get paid through my sponsors, and I get to do the show that way. Dude, Preston, what's happening? Thanks for sending the message, man. I'll check that out in 1 second. But I wanted to say that it's just amazing that you can take something that maybe wasn't what you wanted it to be, but you knew it was the right avenue to be in, and you could take that and make it your own and create something that you really wanted to do on your own terms. So that's pretty cool. That if there's a will, there's a way, right? You have to use your imagination. Your imagination is the most powerful thing you have. It's better than intelligence. It's better than a skill set even. Imagination can let you vision to where you really want to be. This vision. I always go back to Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger would talk about his visions that he had in his life. He had a vision of being on the platform as Mr. Universe, okay, and posing and winning. did that. Had a vision of being Mr. Olympia, posing on the platform and doing that. Did that multiple times over. Had a vision of being the biggest star in Hollywood. Did it. Vision of being a governor. Did it. It's incredible what he did just through vision, through his imagination, because his imagination was strong. So we all have an imagination. It seems like kids' imaginations are really strong, but as adults, they're still there. It's just as strong as when you were a kid. It's just that you have to re-find it. You have to search for it because you lost it along the way from all of the stuff that society ends up putting in your head. You kind of lose your vision of what your imagination was. So I think the best way to do that is to find your, as Happy Gilmore would say, your happy place. For me, that's walking, taking a walk, doing some meditating. So sitting down, just closing your eyes and just letting your brain just do its thing without controlling it, not forcing it to do things, letting it do what it needs to do. And you're going to have these thoughts come to you. Not all of them are going to be great. Not all of them are going to be mind blowing, but there are going to be some in there that are like, wow, that's really good. And when that one pops up, jump out, write it down somewhere. Make sure you jot it down, keep it written somewhere, because you're going to forget it if you. Something I've learned. My memory is not great. My memory is okay. It used to be really bad. It's gotten better. But one thing I do know for sure, as a 100% fact, is that you have to write stuff down because you will forget it. So if you have a great idea, if you have a great thought, and you're like, oh, I'll remember that, I'm smart, or oh yeah, I'll remember that. That's so good. How could I ever forget it? You will forget it, and you'll probably forget it within minutes or 10, 20, 30 minutes. It'll be gone. So write it down somewhere, mark it down, or record yourself saying it, or make a video, or whatever. Just make sure you jot it down because you get to keep that, because it will go away. So when you're in that moment of imagination, of creation, it's happening inside of your head, and you feel spontaneous, you feel inspired, write that stuff down. Make sure you capture those things, act in that moment. You must act. Tony Robbins, I love Tony Robbins, one of the greatest dudes ever. Look up Tony Robbins, anything he's ever done. He blows my mind every time I listen to him. And one of the things he says is he acts as he thinks it. So when it pops in his head, he acts immediately. He doesn't wait to act later. He acts, boom, on the spot. It happens in his brain. It's done. And that's really, I would love to get there in my life. That's one of my goals. Hopefully one of your goals as well, because when you can have a great thought, have a great thing pop in your head, and you actually just, boom, act on it, powerful. So let's get to what I actually wanted to talk about. That was a long 12-minute rant to get to where I wanted to get to. And that is just this simple chart. This simple chart it's so basic, and hopefully my handwriting isn't too bad that you can read it. What you are good at, what you like, and what you know. Hopefully this isn't all backwards for you on my screen. It's looking backwards, but I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. You get the idea. It is what you're good at, what you like, and what you know. If you bring all these things together, you will find the sweet spot. And the sweet spot is this place that you'll get to where you're like, man, I have thought about what I'm good at. I've thought about the thing that I like and the thing that I know, and it's brought me to this one spot. Now you might think like, oh, that's easy, Rob. I'll sit down and I'll do this in a couple of minutes. You really shouldn't do it in a couple of minutes. You should take, days to think about this, weeks to think about this, months maybe. Because for me, it's changed throughout time. This formula has changed for me multiple times over. Not like completely changed, but I've tweaked it a lot. So take the time to really think, what am I good at? And don't just like lie to yourself. Like, what do you have a lot of experience in? What's something you've practiced a lot? That's something like that you're really good at, like that you have a lot of skill in. You want to focus on that thing. You want to work on that thing. You want to like, no, man, this is what I'm good at. I need to put the work in. Now, also, what do you like? So what is something that you like? And what I mean by that is something that no matter what's going on, you're passionate about. Like if you were hanging out with a group of friends and they were like, hey, Rob, what do you want to talk about? I would pick a subject and I could just talk about it for hours. Like that's the kind of things that you like. You probably have more than one thing that you like, but try to find that one that like when you think about it, and maybe it's one of those things like if whatever that passion is, if you've worked on it, if you've been working on that thing at some point in your life, you could work on it for hours and hours and hours and it doesn't drain you. It actually gives you energy. If you find that thing, think of that thing. Like you can work on it like as a business, right? And as you're working on it for hours and hours and hours, you don't even notice the time go by. It's like that flow state you'll end up in. You don't even notice the time go by. You're not even worn out. You're motivated. You're more power. You're more empowered as you do it. It's like you have more passion just the more you do that thing. That's how you know you're going in the right direction. Like making content. This is why I've come to the point where I realize I'm a content creator. I love making content because I could sit here and talk for hours. I'm not going to, but I could because it's just something that excites me. So I know that's something that I like. Think about that for you. What is something that you like? I like lifelong learning. Okay. I love learning new things and then speaking them to other people, because whenever you speak the things you've learned, it helps you to remember them even better. So it's really a powerful tool. Me doing this right here hopefully is helping you, but also at the same time is helping me to remember and to say these things back to myself. And I'm practicing my speaking skills. I'm practicing looking into a camera. And I'm practicing everything. I'm just doing a bunch of different things at once by doing one thing. Okay. So that's something you like. Figure out what that is and then just do that thing. You got to just do it. You can't just think like, man, I love to do that. And I wish I could find more time to do that. I don't have the time to do that. Maybe you're watching this and you're a kid. You might have all the time in the world. Then go out there and do it. Crush it. Start working on it. Do it while you're in high school. Do it while you're in college, wherever you're at. But if you're older, you may have kids. You may have a job. You might have a mortgage. Things are stressful. But you at least have an hour. You at least have 30 minutes in your day. You have some spot in your day where you can really focus on that thing that you like and work on it. And then what do you know? So where is your knowledge? That's the third part of this, is where is your knowledge at? So my knowledge of radio, obviously I've been in radio for a long time, so I can talk about radio for a long time. Talk about pro wrestling. Two things I wanted to do when I was a kid: radio, pro wrestler. I know a lot of information about pro wrestling. I don't really do anything with that. Maybe I will in the future. I know a lot about social media. Okay. I know a lot about personal development because I've been really putting myself through personal development for years, for at least 4.5, almost 5 years now. It's been a big part of my life. So that's a big thing. So I like to talk about that. I love comedy. I love making people laugh. I love laughing. I love goofy stuff. I love fun stuff. So like I do a radio show every day. That radio show, the Rob Z Show, which if you go to robzradio.com, you can find everything about me. That's robzradio.com. I love being goofy. So like I look at radio as my outlet to be this goofy, fun person. I just like screwing off, really. I mean, I don't like being serious. As serious as this video is, I really also enjoy really being super goofy and just being a total screwball. So radio is my outlet for that. And then I look at podcasting, I look at vlogging like this as my other outlet. This is my passion where my lifelong learning comes in, and I can really put that into play. So that's something that I know. I listed a couple things there that I know. I know more stuff in depth when I talk about what I know. So think about it like this: like I don't, maybe you've never heard this before, but they talk about your 10,000 hours. You got to put your 10,000 hours in. Okay. So when you put your 10,000 hours in something, that means you're like a guru, you're an expert, you really know that thing. So maybe you're too young where you haven't put those 10,000 hours in yet. That's okay. You can have 1,000 hours, you can have 5,000 hours, 7,500 hours, whatever. Really, you want to get to that 10,000 hour mark because that makes you like an expert at what you do, where you don't even have to think about it anymore. You can just say it and you can just act, and it just happens because you're so tuned in and good at it. But the other piece of this is that you want to make sure you're putting a lot of time into that thing that you know about, right? If you know it, but you feel like you don't know it well enough, keep doing it. Just keep working at it. Keep chipping away at it. There's a strategy that I really have tied into. And I talked about Tai Lopez at the start of this. When you talk about Tai Lopez, he talks about this thing. You really only need to know 20% of something, of an industry, to dive in and get started with it. So like when I started my social media marketing company, I probably only had like 20 to 30% of the information, right? I had the mental information. I learned it. I had the knowledge, but I never actually, at least for other businesses, I never actually went through and worked and did the physical work. I had the knowledge in my head. I didn't do the physical work. So you really got to start doing that physical work. It's the only way to really pass knowledge on accurately with what you know. So I look at other social media marketers, and I'm not knocking anybody when I talk about this. I'm just saying that a lot of them just run social media for other companies, but they don't do it for themselves. So they might have like all of these clients, but their own social media profile, their Facebook has maybe 100 followers, their Instagram has a few hundred, right? They're not like really doing their own thing. They're working for everybody else. And that's fine. But for me personally, I like to be able to teach. I like teaching more than doing, really, when it comes to social media, the actual day-to-day work of social media marketing takes a long time. You need a team. You need somebody to do that stuff for you, and then you can stand back and be the guy who looks, or girl, who oversees everything, who looks over everything and is like, oh, okay, I can see what's going right and going wrong because I'm on top of this business. I have the knowledge for this business, but I'm not in there working on everybody's project every single day. I am overseeing it and using the information that I have to directly affect people, and to make sure they're going in the right direction, they're doing the right things. I really enjoy consulting, and I really enjoy teaching over everything else. That's really something that I love, and I find myself, that's like a big passion of mine. So I'm starting an online school, actually, that just launched today, ironically. I'll be talking about that at some point down the road, but I really want to get into helping people learn things that I've learned, because what really, the way you can win, the way to win in life, and this comes from Tony Robbins and so many other people, is you have to serve. You have to find a way to serve others. If you can serve others through something that you're really good at, then you really have done something amazing. You've really done something that's going to help you, help others, help everyone. That's the win-win kind of thing. That is the greatest benefit ever. So think about that. What are you good at? What do you like? And what do you know? When you figure out all three of those things, that'll lead you to the sweet spot. Take days, take weeks to think about this. Put some real time into it. And I think that you'll figure out something amazing. And that might mean that you have to change industries. That might mean that you shouldn't go to college. That might mean a whole list of different things for you. But when you know, you know. Be real with yourself. Ask other people these questions to see if you're accurate on what you think about yourself. What you know, you know. When you really spend time and think about it, you'll figure it out. It'll come to you. I hope this was helpful. I really hope this was a piece, something that you could use that would benefit you. Preston, I want to say what's up to you before I sign off, though. Let me put my glasses on. I'm kind of old, so I got to put glasses on to read. He said, "You've come a long way, and finally you are doing the dream goals. Congratulations to you, and keep pushing." Preston, thanks, man. That's awesome of you to write that. It's really cool. So thanks for watching this, and I hope you got something out of it. robzradio.com is my website where you can find everything about me, no matter where you are in the world. So I'm going to sign off now, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks again. Bye.